Hi, in this video we'll discuss about input-output operations in a C++ program. If you are familiar with C programming, in C programming we already have printf and scanf functions, and that functions helps us to accept values from the user and display the values on the output screen. So let's try to visualize it how it would work in C++. So let's say we have a C++ program, and a C++ program possibly can accept an input, and the input comes from some input stream, possibly a keyboard. So user enters the input using a keyboard, and that input values is possibly stored in a program. In program's memory it is processed, and then the output can be displayed on a monitor, or you can say screen. So let's say we have screen or an output device where the output has to be displayed. Now in C++, C++ basically says that the data that goes or data that is taken from a program from a keyboard can be visualized as a stream of bits that flows from a keyboard to a program, and again the data that flows from your program to the screen can again be visualized as stream of bits that flows. So you can say that this can be thought as an input stream. I can say it's an input stream, and basically the data is going to flow from the keyboard, that is whatever user enters is going to flow from the keyboard to your program. And likewise, if the program wants to display an output, then we can have an output stream wherein the data will flow from your program to the screen or an output device. So C++ says that since input and output are very basic operations and can be required by any C++ application, so it already provides some types, some classes, which implements this input streams and output streams. So C++ has two types defined. So C++ has something called an iStream and OStream. So C++ has iStream and OStream types, and iStream type basically is helping, or iStream is basically representing your input stream, and OStream is basically representing your output stream. And in C++, already in the standard library of C++, the objects of iStream and OStream has been created. So we have iStream object as cin, and we have OStream object as cout. And what we can do is we can use iStream object to accept the input and OStream object to display an output. So let us understand with a sample code how it works. So before we go ahead and write the program, let us understand few more things that we'll be using in our program. We'll be using two operators, as a left shift operator and a right shift operator, and this is called as an insertion operator, and this will be called as an extraction operator. And this operators will be used with cin and cout objects. So the insertion operator is used with cout object, and the extraction operator is used with cin object. Okay, so as we will understand more ahead in C++, there's a concept of operator overloading, and cin and cout are the objects of iStream and OStream types, and this insertion and extraction operators are overloaded. So this term might be new for you, but gradually you'll understand there is some more concepts of operator overloading. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that these operators are overloaded. Okay, so these operators are overloaded in the corresponding type. So we'll gradually go ahead and write the program wherein we'll overload this operator, and possibly try to display some object values. But as of now, since we'll be writing some code that will accept the input and display the output, and we'll be using cin and cout objects, and in that objects this insertion and extraction objects will be used. Insertion and extraction operators will be used. So let's start with the first one. We'll start with the insertion operator, and as I said, that insertion operator will be used with the cout object. So I can write cout with an insertion operator, and if I want to display something, I can give that. If I just display hi. So right now it is showing me an error on cout. The reason is because cout is declared in iostream.h, so we need to include the corresponding header file. So I'll write hash include iostream, and again, since in iostream we have a standard namespace std, so I can write std : cout. Now, if you are confused with what is std : you can check out the namespace video. There I have explained what is a namespace and what is this : This : is basically a scope resolution operator. And if I don't want to write this, I can directly go ahead and write using namespace std. Okay, and yes, that's it. So we have a program that just displays hi on the screen, and this is the object. So I can say, well, this is an object. Say it's an object of stream type. A type is also part of the class. We have an operator, so I can say this is an operator. I can call it as insertion operator, and followed by we have a message hi. So we have a message. So I have a data to display. So the data will be displayed as hi. So if I run the program, let's see what happens. I'll build the code and run it. So what do I see is I see the message hi on the screen. So it works. Now what we can do more is we can also display multiple messages. I can use this operator again with hello, with welcome, and with. I'm just trying to print multiple messages. Okay, so this style of using multiple insertion operators is called as cascading. So I can say that what we are trying to do is we are trying to display all these values. So I can say it's a cascading output. Okay, so we are trying to use a single cout object, and we are trying to use multiple times the insertion operator. So basically insertion operator is a function and that gets called, and again it returns something, and that's how it works. So right now let's not get into much detail since we are not aware of the operator overloading concept. So we can just ignore this and we'll see the output of this statement. So again, if I run the program, so what do I see on the output is I should be able to see the entire message. So I should be able to see all the stuff like hi, hello, welcome, bye bye. So all these messages are visible on the screen. Likewise, it's not just the data that is hard coded. I can also have a variable. I can have a variable a with value 10. I can have a variable b with value 20. And if I want to display it, I can say, well, I can say a, value of a is a, and value of possibly b is b. And I'll talk about the endl operator moving ahead, but right now let's see what we get. So if I try to display this, so let's see what we get. So here, when I run the program should display a with the value of a and b with the value of b. So when you want to display a value of a variable, you have to just give the variable name, and the value of variable will be displayed. So here value of a is displayed and value of b is displayed. Now let's go ahead and try to modify a program wherein it possibly accepts the values from the user rather than hard coding the values. So let's say the values are initialized to 0, and in our program we ask the user using a cout object as enter 2 values, and we'll accept the values using cin object, and the first value will be accepted in a. Again, here cin is an object. I can say cin is an object of iStream type. or a class. You can say this is an extraction operator, and whatever value is taken from the user will be stored in value variable a. So I'll say a will hold the value accepted from user. Okay, so in this statement what is happening is that the value entered by the user will be stored in variable a, and I can also write b. So since the user is going to enter two values, the first value will be stored in a and the second value will be stored in b. So we can also have a cascading input. So I can also write it like this. So wherein the first value entered by the user will be stored in a and the second value will be stored in b. Next, let's say we have a variable sum wherein we are storing the addition of two variables in a sum variable, and then we would like to display the output. So I would like to say okay, sum, and the sum should be displayed. So here what will happen is that the value of sum will be displayed and the value of sum will be addition of a and b. So let's see how it works. What do we get? So when I run the program, it should ask two values. I enter 10 and 20, and what do I get here is I get the result as 30, which looks good. So that was a simple example of how to use cout and cin objects of iStream and OStream to handle input output operations in a C++ program.